When it really comes down to it, what we say to ourselves a lot of times is, I just want a normal life. I want a normal family. I want a normal marriage. That's all I want. And how do I get there? The first reality that we all have to deal with, as special needs parents, is that we are tempted to chase the illusion that we can or should have it all.
The low points come when I think about what Riley could have been.
Whatever our lot is, we want something different, and we want something more than what we already have. That's the commonality we find with everybody, and ours is rooted in the fact of our situation.
I have two sons, and one is typical and one has special needs. But I think about Riley and Luke and me going fishing, or we're not hunters, but we might try that. We would go play golf together. It's those things that a dad and a son would want to do. Build a fence together, work on an old car together. And to know that Riley and I will never have that relationship. We will never have that to share.
Not only do these desires come naturally, but our culture seduces us into believing that we deserve complete fulfillment and perfect happiness. I call this a conventional fantasy. And here's how it works. Number one, influences around us forge an improper perception of reality. Then the second step comes. We compare our expectations and fantasies to our reality. And we look at the contrast between the two of them. Then comes step number three. We question the reality instead of questioning the fantasy. Then number four, what we do is then we pursue and we try to find ways to change our reality rather than changing this fantasy and putting it on a shelf. We try to change this reality into something that it can never be. And by doing that, it typically hurts our marriage, our family, and it makes whatever our current reality is worse.
Being a guy and wanting to fix things, that's what I do for a living. I troubleshoot and I fix things, and I can't fix right.
And then number five, we end up in isolation. We end up in isolation from the people closest to us, from the ones who care about us, from the reality that we have, the reality that we're living in, our life. We become isolated from it because we're fighting these battles that we don't need to fight.
And so if I dwell on it and I let that fester, so to speak, that is really depressing for me.
Here is an idea for you. The solution to the illusion is contentment and joy. Contentment and joy.
If you focus on the things that Riley can't do, he can't walk, he can't feed himself, he can't dress himself. But we've learned God moves in mysterious ways, that he has used Riley in that situation to bless us and to bless our friends and our family and our church family in ways that we never expected. Now, it's hard. I mean, there is no disputing that it's a very difficult road to walk. But we've been blessed beyond measure.
Have you ever stopped and said to yourself, how could they have it all? They've got everything. If I could just have what they have. But I'm here to tell you as a fact, nobody has it all.
When I look at it from the other side, and I look at the blessings that God has brought into my life, to our family life through Riley. Riley's life is not clouded by the things that distract the rest of us. Work pressures, mortgage payments, down economy, elections, problems in Congress, you name it. Riley Riley doesn't know. He doesn't care. He doesn't even sense that. Riley knows love and acceptance.
And we don't need, as special needs parents, we do not need to carry the load of why not me around with us every day. You and Marisa and I, we are living our lives and saying, instead of saying, why can't we have it, we let that go and we look at the things that God has blessed us with, the things that we do have, and we deal the best with the things that we have.
God changed my perfect child into a child that brings out perfection in others. Because when people are around Riley, you have to give up all of the baggage that's around you, because Riley doesn't live in that world. You have to give that up and enter his world, which I'm convinced is the world that God wants all of us to live, which is the simple world of love and acceptance.